Smash Factor.
Ripping driver, going for it. Oh my goodness. How about that tee shot?
That is crazy how far that is.
Wow. John Daly, take a back seat, big fella. How about that drive?
That's an aggressive line. Man, that is beyond long.
Look at this. He's just driven the green. He has just driven the green.
I guess hello world, huh?
Welcome everybody to the Smash Factor. Week 3 of the, is it 3? I think it's 2. Maybe week 2 of the 2022-2023 PGA season. The Sanderson Farms at the Country Club of Jackson, coming off the President's Cup. It is a late Tuesday night. I went ahead and decided to go ahead and do the pod. A little behind this week. We had issues on the back end of some stuff. Then my work schedule the last couple of days pretty busy. And so a little bit behind, but I'll have everything caught up by tonight. All the stuff that that's normally out will be back out. Rankings are out now. I got everything ready for the pod. Should be it'll be similar to the Fortinet Championship as far as field, you know, guys up top, a little of that sticker shock that we deal with. And it's typical for this time of the year, you know, wanting to pay X for this guy. Good time of the year to maybe use some of the stuff that like I do as far as trying to get all your rankings, everything done, and either hide the player, the price, whatever. And so you're just kind of looking at it without going, do I want to spend $9,200 for this guy or that guy? Another good thing I think I took notes on and kind of looked back at some of my stuff from last year was this is a good time to try stuff you may not want to try during a normal time or normal season, and maybe it's less bankroll. So maybe it's half the bankroll. You go, you know, maybe you're used to playing $20 3 max or, you know, something to that extent. And now you go, why don't I try, you know, do max out the mini max, or, you know, or one of those where it comes out to, I can't remember what it is. I think it's 50 cents. So, you know, maybe it's $75 and you've never done 150 and it without putting too much more, maybe it's less than your bankroll. I wouldn't do more. Just somewhere in that way, maybe do a $20 1 max because you always do 1 max and 3 max. Just to give you a chance to learn how to build 20. Just to, you know, maybe do it for a couple weeks to change up your routine. Like when you get locked into you know, big time season, when we get here in, you know, January, February, and we're marching towards the Masters and then on to the summer. This is a good time because there's so much unknown anyways. A lot of this field is, you know, the Corn Ferry, some Euro guys come over. It's weaker fields, not as top heavy. The bigger deal for me isn't necessarily is it top heavy or the pricing this or that. It's the gap, the talent gap between each section, whether you go however far you want to go between pricing and all that, isn't as strong or as wide as we get sometimes. So when you're paying, now I get it. Sam Burns is talented. He's top 12. Just, you know, played okay last week. I think a lot was putter, which we'll get to in a little bit. You know, probably a fade for me this week. But JT Poston at 10-2, right? Just naturally you go, I'm not paying 10-2 for JT Poston. And it's not because I'm not paying 10-2 for JT Poston. In my opinion, it's what's the difference between Poston and 8,700 blah. You know, that's where it really gets to me is, all right, the volatility of PGA golf and DFS 4-day slate in general is already so much unpredictable and stuff like that. So I get a little bit different. Maybe you play the exact same contest, but you try a little bit different strategies than you normally do. Tighter pool, bigger pool. One of the deals I did last fall was tighten up my pool and get really convicted into some of my plays, especially my core. And it did well as far as PGA goes. So don't be afraid to do that. You could do it any time of the year, but if there's ever a time that you want to try that, you know, I think it's a good time to try that. If you want to shoot me messages on, hey, I'm thinking about doing this contest, never done it before, thoughts, ideas, stuff like that, you know, go ahead. Very busy time of the year for me in general, especially with NFL, and I play college football, even though I don't do the content. I'm active in Slack for it and all that, but I play a lot of it. So I do a lot of my personal research, and then obviously we'll go back and forth with Bobby on things and you know, definitely respect his opinion. He's great at what he does. So I spend a lot of time in college football, even though I'm not pushing out content. And then NFL and then golf. I still enjoy golf a lot. And so it is busy. So, and typically what I started doing, because I would be whatever on a flight or moving, and I would read my messages, but I couldn't get back. And that would it's hard for me to track. So if I have a little notification in Slack or Twitter, I don't open the message until I know I'm in a position where I can respond to something. Unless I know it is potentially urgent or something like that. And I know people are trying to whatever, because I want to be able to sit down. Normally I try to do it every night. So it's not like weeks or anything. It's within 48 hours, but, obviously Sunday morning or something like that, I'm keeping up because I know things are hot, but like a Tuesday afternoon or something, like I'll save that for the night. And when I get to a point in time that I know I could research, respond, or do whatever. So if you don't hear back from me immediately, that's why, especially right now, there's so much going on. President's Cup was last week. I think it went well. I don't know in general how everybody did. Not a lot of people play. I mean, it didn't even fill the big contest, which is a little surprising. But I think most people kind of like match play tends to sometimes not get this. People just go, I don't even know how to begin with this. And right now you got college football, NFL, all that. It's a difficult time to make people go outside their box. Plus there wasn't a lot of coverage last week, right? I had it fully covered as far as content goes. It was still a game theory type deal. You still had to kind of project where you were. I mean, I broke even on Maine, I think, and I only had a 1 round 4. I had too much JT. I kind of went lighter on Zane. I was going to go 2 of 3. I was going to be really light on. I had almost no Scheffler on Sunday, which was good. Where I messed up is I didn't double down on it, and especially in that small of a field, and go, not only am I not going to have a Scheffler, I'm going to do some Munoz captain, which I think actually wound up being the optimal Sunday. Because that's a direct correlation, which we don't get often in golf. But in that scenario, I'd been like, well, if I'm fading Scheffler, I had Munoz, but I only did him in flex. That kind of killed me. And then it was so it was Scheffler, JT, and Xander for me. And I wound up going light on Xander, almost no Scheffler. I think I full faded Scheffler. And then I went heavier on JT, was the one I chose. Going out the gate versus Siwoo, that hurt me. But main slate was good. I had some sweat, nothing crazy. I had chances there on Sunday, but needed the right things to break, just like almost anybody. There's so many trains and 1v1s you needed, like this one scenario had to come true. And, but I enjoyed it. I still liked it, liked the contest, all that kind of stuff. Didn't bet much. Hadn't recapped all that yet. I'll get all that out, but I think it did okay overall. If you want to join us right now, smash 20% off. Any package includes a 7-day risk-free trial that is locked in for life. When you use that code, if you want to upgrade, you can upgrade later. If you get in there and you want to try out the tools, you can upgrade, do that. If you want to try them out now and you want to downgrade, you can actually downgrade your membership too. If you go, just going to read the content and make lineups, that's perfectly fine too. If you don't, if you cancel in that first 7 days, you never see a charge. Rate and review us on iTunes. We'll be doing big giveaways. I did giveaways last week. I reached out to everybody, or they reached out to me. I owe them the picture. So if you're listening to this, I will send you what we have, the 3 big winners, and I'll let the first guy pick and go down order there. So I will do that. Probably planning on doing the next big one. Like I said, around Black Friday, holidays, Thanksgiving. I enjoy that time of the year, so we'll give some money away then. Rate and review us. We'll get you into those drawings right now. Subscribe to us on YouTube and leave a comment in the section. I get the comments. I put them all in the same folder. So I get an email. Every time someone comments on our stuff, I get an email. Have it set up that way so I can put those emails in one section for the drawing stuff. So in today's comment, tell me who you want to play, who your favorite play is in the 9K range. That'll get you into that Black Friday drawing. Listener League will return probably maybe Tournament Champions. It'll be Tournament Champions or Sony. I can't remember what I did last year, but I'll look at that. That time of the year, you're still getting NFL playoff-ish. So, I'll take a look at that. I thought about bringing it back now because I'm not doing the NFL Listener League. It was just not enough people filling it up. It would be real last minute, and I just rather focus on PGA when it comes to that Listener League stuff. So I may start it up, but I just don't know how many people are playing in the fall either. I mean, we'll see. I'll see kind of how the contests go this week as far as filling them up, and it's not every week, right? So we'll have one. There'll be a break in between there at some time. So I normally just start it over January, kind of one and done. All that kind of stuff gets fired up. So we'll bring those back in January. This week, Country Club of Jackson, par 72, 7,450 yards, 4 par 3s, 4 par 5s. Not the easiest par 5s on tour, but you can still make birdies there. Bermuda greens can be hit, even in the rough. It's not tremendously thick rough or anything. I don't think you want to wide spray it like just all over, but you can hit it down there, fairly straight and forward of you course, in front of you course. So, which is why we see some of the high scoring we get. It's one of the easier courses of the year. Kenny's got his full ride up. You can check that out on the side if you want to. Around the greens, probably one of the stats I like to look at in general, but this week's not, you probably don't need it. If you're not hitting a lot of greens, you're probably not going to be kind of up there. The weather looks great. We'll say, thoughts and prayers out to everybody who is in the path of what looks to be, could be a pretty vicious, massive hurricane by the time it actually hits. Looking in the Tampa area, looks like it's turning a little bit, so maybe it'll be a little bit south of kind of like Fort Myers, Naples, those anywhere in Florida right now, you're going to get hit. Best case, a bunch of rain and wind and all that. Worst case, just destruction. So those trying to get out of the way there. Hope you guys get out safe and sound. We'll keep you guys in our thoughts there as well. For Jackson, though, pretty good week. Like sometimes this time of the year, like today, it was still 94 here in Oklahoma, and we're not too far away from Mississippi, but high 70s, sunny. Not as humid as it could be down there, so it looks like pretty good weather for this time of year. Cut, you're probably going to see -3, -4. Last year, it was kind of weird. I went back and looked. It was a -5 cut, and there was only 2 guys at -5. So it was almost -6 last year. So it can really be had, if the course is right, for the picking. I'm going to go with -4 is probably about it when you kind of look at the history of it all. Past winners, I can't remember what year this went from kind of alternate event to main event like it is now, but Burns, Garcia, Munoz, Cam Champ, Armour, Gribble, Nick Taylor, some runner-ups, Watney, Cam Young last year. He kind of got on the radar early. Malnati, Sungjae, Connors, Luke List, Chris Kirk. So you kind of see, guys that at that time in their career were like, oh, I wonder how well he'll do later on. And Connor, Sungjae, Cam Young, Munoz, Champ flourishes. We know how he is. He can get hot any week. Obviously, Garcia Burns, last year gets his win. 22 under, 19 under, 18 under, 21 under, 19 under, 20. So you're going to be right around that 20 under is kind of where we're looking this week. So not just crazy birdie fest, but, you got to be able to score each day. I mean, you're talking averaging 5 under a day to get the 20 under. So definitely want to look at that birdie and better scoring. Stats I'm looking at, just overall ball striking, par 4 DK scoring, birdie or better rate, opportunities inside 18 feet, good drives and good approach. I actually kept it exactly the same last year because I actually did really well here last year. Burns was like top 4 in my model. I always review that, right? And so it worked well, and so I was like, well, I guess I'll kind of keep it rolling as it is. Salary ranges. The one thing I do like so far, we'll see how this transitions when we get big boy tournaments, is they're not forcing you to have 5 or 6 10K or putting someone at 11-2, even though Rahm in here, Rory or whatever. Only 4 guys there. You got a 10-7, 10-4, 10-2, 10-1, and then it drops down. So they're at least respecting the fact that, okay, we got to have the pricing up there because, with the algorithms that have to make sense when you have enough 6K, 7K, all that kind of stuff. But we don't have to say Sam Burns or even the second guy, Thigala, right? Never want to, he's not priced at 10-9 underneath an 11-5 Burns or something like that, and so I do like that. They're at least respecting that. 9K, there's 7 guys, 8K, 10 guys, 7K, 41 guys, and 6K, 77 guys. Only 140 or 44, I can't remember, this week. And the biggest reason for that, at least is what I think, is daylight, and this is Central Time Zone, which is where I'm at. So I assume they've done the numbers to go, we can cut 12 to 16 guys out, and that'll give us enough time to finish with it getting darker a little bit earlier this time of year. Sweet 16, if you're new to the pod, maybe you're an NFL guy and you're checking it out, appreciate it. I do similar to like NFL, but 9, I'll do all the salary zones, 3 guys I like and a bubble boy. Then I do a fade of the week, sleeper of the week, 4 to 6 on bigger week 6, but 4 gut feel plays, my betting top 5 to pop, and 2 long shots provided by Prize Picks, and we kind of get out of here. I'm going to try to go fast and furious tonight, just stick to the points, being that it's already going to come out probably around 8-ish, 9-ish at night, still got most guys or people that I've talked to and kind of said, hey, sorry. Well, most people, it seems like in the fall swing, they're just coming in Wednesday, late afternoon, night, gathering what they can in content, make some lineups, and be done with it type of deal, which is fine. I still want to be able to provide it for y'all. 9K and above, I'm going to go Scott Stallings. Played him a lot coming down the stretch. Didn't play 2 weeks ago. 13th at Windham, 2nd at BMW. 4 out of 6 years he's made the cut here. 43rd, 39th, 28th, and a 6th. He does have 2 missed cuts. One thing I have noticed is history probably gets a downgrade for me because you'll see guys that miscut, 10th, miscut, first, 2nd, miscut, 18th, 30th, 50th. I mean, there doesn't seem to be like, oh, I play this course well. Even Burns, he came in, he's got a 43rd, a 45th, a miscut, and then a 3rd and a 1st. So there's, it doesn't seem to be, I can always, and really it's because if you look at the kind of the correlated stats and stuff, putting weighs a lot heavier in the end results. It's, we always talk about how predictable it is, but at the end of the day, you got to be able to putt well when you're talking about making 25 plus birdies. You're going to bogey every once in a while. So 23, 24 birdies in a week. So not as strong on course history this week, but I still will mention it a little bit. I do like Poston. He's coming in pretty good form. Good history here. 5 out of 6 years he's made the cut. So that I just said I'm not taking it in, but I do notice that. I'm like, well, there are a few guys he does do well. I guess the better way to say it is I'm not going to discredit someone just because they have average history here. JT, if I'm going to pay up this week, and I don't know that I will, I could easily full fade the top 8 price guys and not think of it twice. Coming in, he's playing really well towards the end of the year. 21st, the 20th, and the 35th. He's third in recent form, 29th in stats, 21st in Bermuda putting, 15th in course fit. One of the better overall profiles of the week. The price, I think, will scare some people off. I have a early morning at the gym, driving tomorrow, my territory and stuff, that a lot of pods to consume for golf because I hadn't listened to any yet, really. So I would think that he gets, because I just think Thagala is fresher on guys' mind. You look at the recent form from him, it's even better than Poston, 13th, 15th, 24th. He got an 8th here last year. I said 2 weeks ago at the Fortnite Championship that I think he's going to get a win in the fall swing. So we'll get to him in just a second. But I think Poston kind of falls where people go, oh, Russell Henley, he's a DFS, darling-ish at times. I could see that. Or people just dropping completely to the 9K, which I may do. I can see Poston kind of coming in lower owned, and I like that. So if I do go up there, he's one I like. Davis Riley and Thagala was my like, and Bubble Boy. I wind up going with Riley as the like. They're really, really close to me, mainly because $1,400 difference. I was trying to figure out early on who could garnish more ownership. They're not comparable as far as I'm going to go look at each other side by side, but as a final like in this range, I went with him. He's just playing really good overall. A 13th, a 31st, a 54th, and 11th his last 4 tournaments. He's one of the guys that's just okay here. 39th when he first played here, and then 2 missed cuts. But if you go look at the numbers, he's not as horrible as the 2 missed cuts would show you. So I do like him. Thagala I like. Again, he's the Bubble Boy strictly because I think if anybody was going to pay up outside of Burns, I assume Burns is going to be high owned, that people would go to Thagala instead of Burns. And so I honestly think what we may get to is Burns gets high owned and then people drop. And the other 3 may not be that high owned at all. We'll see what comes by the time we get to tomorrow night. 8K range. I like Molinex, $8,300. 4th here last year. He's another guy. He hadn't played here since 2018. Shows up, gets a 4th. Before that, a 57th, a miscut, and a miscut. I think he's playing really well. Some of the best golf of his career. 5th at the St. Jude, 12th at the BMW. He did miss a cut 2 weeks ago. He doesn't have the best Bermuda splits, and so that's a little worrisome. Stat-wise, he looks great. 15th, 17th, 6th, 12th, 6th, 25th in all 6 categories. So I like that a lot. I love the price. We'll see if he's talked up plenty or not, but I do like Molinex this week. Taylor Moore, another guy I played quite a bit of, especially towards the end of the year. I don't mind going back to him. $8,500, 6th overall my model, 17th here last year, and he actually played it back in 2017. I was going to have a note to see what that was. He was an amateur or what, but 2017 then last year, so big gap there. Obviously a younger guy. 5th at the Windham, 31st at St. Jude, 44th at BMW. Stats outside of good approach, really solid. 20th, 11th, 2nd, 22nd, and 16th across the other 5. Pretty solid there. Second in birdie or better rate. Really like that. He's mid-pack for Bermuda putting. Gets a little bit of an uptick, hot putter type deal. Everything else looks great. Love the price, $8,500. Don't mind that at all. Windham Clark, again, a guy I don't play a lot of. I said that 2 weeks ago, and I said, but I am going to play him this week at the Fortinet because I felt like he was kind of not being talked up. Did well, 11th. 5 years here. He's made 3 cuts, 2 so-so, 66th and 54th. He does have a top 20, though, and then 2 missed cuts. So just an average results here. 12th on Bermuda putting, though. It is his best surface. 7th in par 4 DK scoring, 19th in birdie or better, 2nd in good approach. All things I like, especially from a guy that we know hits it, pretty good off the tee. So I like Clark at 8,000. Bubble Boy was Chris Kirk. I just feel like in this field where he's at, he could garnish some ownership. He doesn't rate out just super great for me. He's okay. 4 or 5 cuts made here, a 2nd, a 34th, a 53rd, and a 35th. So he's just okay. I like him. I generally like to play him, but I could see him at 8,200. Kind of people are, Chris Kirk, I like him. He's playing well. He had some spikes last year. I could see that. It's the only reason why he's Bubble Boy, because he's kind of there for me. Like, he's right in the middle of the pack. Okay play, nothing I'm high on, but enough to grab my attention to be on that Bubble Boy level. Steven Yeager kicks off the 7K for me. Played him a lot in the last 4 or 5 weeks. 13th at the Windham, 46th at St. Jude, 11th at Fortinet. Like it. I played him a lot at Fortinet, did well there. He has played this 5 times, which kind of surprised me, but miscut 51st, 14th, miscut 26th. So fairly decent history here. Good putter. He's 28th in the field, which is good enough. Great. If he shows up, that's perfectly fine with some of the other stuff he has. 12th in birdie or better, 2nd in opportunities inside 18 feet. Kind of tells me he's always going to give himself a shot. If he does have a hot putter day or 2 to ride the tournament, he could be there. And at $7,200, I really like that a lot. Lee Hodges, guy I've been off and on, and he kind of roller coasters at times. It seems like he's on a good roller coaster run now. 47th, 13th, and 24th for 7K flat. Did play here last year. I kind of like that. He made the cut, 45th. And one thing I do think about is, like, when I think made the cut here, especially last year, you basically needed -6 to make the cut. That's a pretty good cut to make. And so it tells me he can score. Stats look great. He's 11th overall in stats, 11th in total ball striking. I definitely like that. Putter is really it for him. Overall in Bermuda, he's not great. He's 96 in the field. Last year had a good week, and that's why, he made the cut and had some chances. If he gets any kind of, friction out of that putter, he could have a really good week this week. And at that price, I like that upside there. Stewie Sink, 7,100. He just kind of keeps grinding, right? He's played here twice since 2016, a 28th and a 12th. So 2 made cuts. He definitely can score if he's finished top 30 both times. He's got a 27th and a 24th with a missed cut at the St. Jude in his last 3. So that's solid. 4th in good drives, 10th in good approach, 25th in birdie or better, 16th in par 4 DK scoring. All things I like. Great price at $7,100. And you got to think, like, a guy like that, like, he's got a lot of career earnings, right? If you're showing up to the Sanderson's farm at his status, one or two things, and probably both. It really is. Wants to play golf, all that kind of stuff, but he looks at it as, man, it's a chance for me to get a good start on my 2022, 2023 FedEx run and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of like that for him in this tournament to show up here, being the veteran that he is. My Bubble Boy is Brendan Still, only 100% because of he typically, when he gets mentioned, it's by almost everybody. He just steams up ownership. So I'm expecting that. If I just get decent ownership on him, I like him a lot. 17th here last year. He's 1st in ball striking, 3rd in good drives, 5th in good approach. There's enough there that I like. 11th in course fit, 10th in recent form. I just feel like he's going to be so high owned. But I wanted to mention him because if we get to tomorrow night and he's just kind of right there, maybe it's being split up in flat ownership, I like him a lot at 7,900. I do have him as the Bubble Boy because I think he'll be high owned. 6K, I'll start off with Callan Tarrant, just a guy I like in general. I'll play a lot of him. I'm going to continue to play a lot of him, especially in this fall swing. Don't really care about, I just know his upside, right? We've seen it before. 27th at Windham, miscut. He missed his cut last year here. I just think he was on with maybe Travis Fulton, one of those pods, and I listened to him. It was right as the FedEx run. We were getting towards the end of it, like trying to get in that top, 65, whatever it was. and really liked his demeanor and the way he was on that podcast. 30th in stats, 14th in recent form, mid-pack and putting. I just know that I think he can get there if he gets hot. And so I like him a lot, especially at that price. I don't think anybody in the 6K is going to garnish just a massive amount of ownership. So you can kind of go as you will there. Harry Hall, played him, had the good run at the Corn Ferry. I think he's got tremendous upside. Miscut at Fortinet, that's fine. He's 7th in birdie or better. Now, he's limited in size, so I don't get too much into it. He's 6th in the Bermuda putting, again, limited size. But enough there. He's a guy, 6,600. I'll take that. Vincent Whaley, he's got a little more on him. He's not a young buck per se. Made the cut every year here, but hasn't done much with it. So 45th, 64th, 65th. Missed the cut at the Windham, missed the cut at St. Jude, but a second 2 weeks ago. So I really like that. Good on Bermuda putting. He's 18th in the field, 11th in birdie or better. He's more of a boomer bust play. We've seen that with him. He could literally be +4 through 6 come Thursday morning. Or he could be hanging around. He tends to have one bad round, and you just hope it's more of not as bad, or it happens on and I think that's what's kind of happened here. He's a guy I'll deep dive on tonight, but does he make the cut, have a bad round, and then finish kind of okay on the weekend? That's kind of stuff I want to look at, but there's enough there upside. If I'm going to dip down in the 6Ks, I like him at 6,600. Chesson Hadley's a bubble boy just because I think he could garnish some ownership. Maybe not, though. I mean, nothing crazy. He is a boomer bust, right? So his history here is a miscut, a second, a miscut, a 45th, 8th at the Windham, then miscut. He's a roller coaster guy as well, but 4th in par 4 DK scoring, 9th in birdie or better, 7th in Bermuda putting here. All things that I like when I'm looking at guys in 6K range for that upside for him. Make a cut and can you finish top 25 or have a chance on Sunday to even backdoor top 15, 10 at that price? That's all I need, and I do like that. Again, risk reward type of play, but I don't mind that. Fade of the week. Right now, it's pretty much going to be Burns for me. I feel he's going to be 30%, maybe. Clearing away the best talent per se, perception. Most of it's reality, right? 12th in the world, I think, OWGR. And you can make the narratives of he played all 5 matches. He's, partied, had fun Sunday night. Would he even be here if he wasn't the defending champ? That's another question to me. It's just so much random, especially in a fall swing type deal. I mean, I did this with Rahm, right? At Mexico. And, I think there were still contests you didn't need him. But one difference there, I think Rahm had a bigger gap on the pricing. But still, he's, it's 10-7, 10-4, 10-2, 10-1, and then you drop to the 9. So compared to most of the field, he is priced up there. And if 30% of the field is going to be going to him, and maybe they try to go Henley or they start doing, it's going to be a lot of the similar builds there that I guess if you want to play him, the one way I would is if I'm in a single entry or a 3 max and I play him, I know the ownership doesn't matter as much, but I would make sure I have really unique pieces around him where I can control that better. I just think it's easier for me to fade him if he's going to be that high. We'll see by tomorrow night. I don't see him under 20% in any way, shape, or form. And I watched a lot of the President's Cup. It made one of the TVs even on Sunday, even Saturday for me, because Saturday is way crazier than Sunday because you just have so many games going off at different channels, different times. Sunday, it's easier because I have the Sunday ticket, and so I can get 8 games on one TV, the red zone. And, I have 4 or 5 different options, viewing options there. So, but I still had President's Cup on it. He played good and made some runs, but, man, he was still squarely off the tee at times, which we know he can be. And it's history here, right? Miscut, 45th, 43rd. So it's not like he's just Webb Simpson, whatever I think Wyndham, whatever his tournament is, where he's just automatic top 10. He has times where he can get sideways and would, if he missing a cut shock me? No. So maybe I have egg on my face come, Sunday and he's top 5 searching for a win, but at that leverage ownership this week, I'll just take that every single week in this kind of, this kind of where we're at in the year. And a lot of people are just going to go, who's the top place? Who's everybody talking about? Build my lineup, move on. I got to get ready for NFL. I got to get ready for Thursday night showdown and watch kickers and defenses and captains, winning with 6 points and stuff. It's been a crazy showdown for NFL these first, 6 or 8 slates we've had. for him. Just things that are the optimals on them are like 1%, 4% of the time, and we're like 6 for 6 on these crazy things happening. But looks like we'll have some better matchups coming up, so hopefully get a little more. I don't mind it. I mean, it's fun. It's a game theory situation, a script, and it always gives you some challenges there. My sleeper of the week is Robert Streb. I actually wish he didn't finish second 2 weeks ago. He looks good. He looks all right. Nothing. I don't think he's going to be high owned or anything. He's $6,400. He's got 2 top 25s here and 2 missed cuts, which is kind of standard. He's coming in with a 36, a 51st, and a second, so pretty decent form. 30th in the field in recent form, 25th in Bermuda putting. When I got a $6,400 guy and he's got 2 top 25s of the place, he's coming in on 3 straight made cuts. He's top 10, 15% in putting. I'll take a chance on that, and I don't think he'll be high owned, so he's kind of my sleeper of the week right now, Robert Streb. Gut feel plays, I like Davis Thompson. I'm going to be on him quite a bit this year, $7,200. Svensson, $7,400. Let's see. We played him 2 weeks ago because the DFS darling was no more. I even said that on the pod, and he gets an 11th. I'm interested to see if we're going to start hitting his name again. Oh, let's play him now. He's back, right? Buckley, super roller coaster guy. But he's good on birdie or better, 8th in ball striking, 9th in opportunities, 8th in good drives. I like all that. A 4th here last year and a 63rd in 2018. So he's made the cut both times he's played here. Recent form isn't great, but if you go look at it, it's all putting. Most of it's putting. He's got a miscut and a 61st and a miscut. But you go pull those tournaments like tee to green, he's doing pretty decent. And so I like that 7K. And then Glee Glick, a guy that always seems to pop up randomly. More consistently as of late, he's got a miscut and a 37th and a miscut here. So yo-yo kind of deal. 61st at the Windham. Did miss a cut 2 weeks ago. 10th in birdie or better. 15th in par 4 DK scoring. 13th in good drives. All things I like. $7,100. He's probably going to be in the pool or real close to it for sure. My betting top 5 that pop and 2 long shots. Click on the link. Price picks and underdog. Plenty of contests there. I give my picks away for NFL. I'll toss in college football if I see it, and I definitely will, do golf as well when they have them. I don't think Price Picks does golf in the fall right now. I think they're probably got all resources for football, but still, dollar for dollar match up to $100. You can go check out the NFL stuff. Tommy gives his when he does UFC. All the sports will have those Price Pick plays, and we've made pretty good money. It's hot and cold at times, but definitely pretty good money overall. My top 5 right now, like Molinex, 40-ish to 1, Clark 40, Svensson 66, Thompson 80, and the one guy that I would probably pay up for right now, I don't know if I'm going there for sure, would be Riley. I see him as good as like 30, 33 to 1. He's the one that kind of got my eye. I like the Gala, but I can't do an 18 or a 20 on him. Not this. I'd rather take the 30, 33 on Riley. 2 long shots I like Calentarem 125 to 1. And then I like kind of a toss up here. I like Ekrot. I think he has that pedigree and that potential one day, but I also like SH Kim. I think he's one of those guys. I don't want to say like Tom Kim or anything like that, but he definitely has that pedigree, and you hear that a lot. Very limited sample size, but he's first in par 4 DK scoring and 3rd in birdie or better here. So he's a guy on my list, more of a flyer type deal, but for his price, he could be like maybe we do a top 20 type bet on him as well. Like I mentioned, obviously probably no E9 and stuff like that this week. May try to get Kenny for one of the couple. I think there's a couple of bigger tournaments. There's 2 bigger ones in the fall. I know that they used to do like the WGC. Let's just see which ones, but I'll get Kenny on for a couple. We'll do a little. Now we're going to have much more E9 coverage come. I started doing it by myself the last few, and I got a lot of great feedback there. So I will be doing that when we have the audience and more people there, but maybe I get them, so the Zozo and CJ Cup, which 1 or 2 of those used to be the WGC. They're not really that, but they're still, will be a lot bigger tournaments per se. I'll see if I can get them on for one of those 2 before we wind up, head to the holidays, take a little break, and then we'll come back in the spring or January, still be winter for some, and get rolling there. And I'll be doing E9 probably every week once we turn and get to the normal. And I'll have Kenny on a couple times a week or a couple times a month as well. If you have any questions on any of that stuff that I talked about, just hit me up in DM me in Slack, or if you're not a member, reach out to me on Twitter, especially if you've got contest questions or want to try something out. I'll certainly help out any way I can. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday evening. If you are a member, I will have most, if not everything, caught up tonight. And then I'll get up early in the morning, kind of wrap up most of it. We're back on schedule. And then tomorrow night, put out my normal stuff that I normally do after I get done with the work on the day job type things. So have a good evening. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.